Thanks for joining me today. We're going to be looking at when Solomon requests wisdom. Today's hymn is the hymn Wonderful Words of Life.
Sing them over again to me, wonderful words of life. Let me more of their beauty see, wonderful words of life. Words of life and beauty, teach me faith and duty. Beautiful words, wonderful words of life. Beautiful words, wonderful words of life.
Wonderful Words of Life, as we think about Solomon requesting wisdom. 1 Kings chapter 3, verse 4. Now the king went to Gibeon to sacrifice there, for that was the great high place. Solomon offered 1,000 burnt offerings on the altar. At Gibeon the Lord appeared to Solomon in a dream by night, and God said, Ask, what shall I give you? Solomon said, You have shown great mercy to your servant David my father, because he walked before you in truth, in righteousness, and in uprightness of heart with you. You have continued this great kindness for him, and you have given him a son to sit on his throne, as it is this day. Now, O Lord my God, you have made your servant king instead of my father David. But I am a little child. I do not know how to go out or come in, and your servant is in the midst of your people, whom you have chosen, a great people too numerous to be numbered or counted. Therefore give to your servant an understanding heart to judge your people, that I may discern between good and evil. For who is able to judge this great people of yours? And the speech pleased the Lord. As we think about wonderful words of life and wisdom, I believe it's Proverbs 4 that almost begins, if I remember correctly, with, or at least it includes, get wisdom. Get wisdom. James chapter 1 talks about, if any of you lacks wisdom, let him ask of God. Well, that's what Solomon's doing. He's asking for wisdom. He could have asked for so many other things. And the Lord is going to speak to that in the coming verses, if you read them. But he doesn't ask for those things. He doesn't ask for long life. He doesn't ask for riches. He doesn't ask for those things. He asks for wisdom. He needs wisdom. And that's what we need. We need wisdom. We need the Word. We need God's mind revealed, and we need to read it and understand it so we can make good applications to our lives, so we can follow the Lord and do what is pleasing in His sight, because what is pleasing in His sight is good for us. We'll talk more about that in the coming days as well. But here Solomon is, and he asks for wisdom. You see the humility that he has when he says, I'm like a little child. I don't know how to go out. I don't know how to come in. I don't know. And you have this humility there. Again, in James, as we think about receive with meekness the implanted word. And we need to be humble and recognize that it is not within man to guide his own steps. We need the Lord's wisdom. And so we humble ourselves. And that's what Solomon's doing. And it would have been easy for Solomon. It would have been easy for Solomon to not be humble. 1,000 sacrifices. And yet he still says, I'm like a little child. The next thing I wanted to mention is he's asking for wisdom so that he can, did you notice it? Therefore give to your servant an understanding heart to judge your people, that I may discern between good and evil, for who is able to judge this great people of yours? I think that's interesting. And the speech pleases the Lord. And let's say this. Do you remember why Israel wanted a king? And beyond just to be like all the other nations. But they wanted a king to go and fight their battles before them. Well, Solomon, he doesn't ask for, he has peace, actually. He doesn't ask for a huge army. so that he can be the sort of king that Israel wanted back then. He asks for a discerning heart so that he can judge. And I thought that was interesting. Because, of course, having a king was, I have to be careful about saying not the plan. But Samuel warned them what it would become, and in Solomon's lifetime it's going to become this. But it starts off well. And it's about having a discerning heart because he wants to help people. He wants to help God's people. Right? That's what this is about. This isn't necessarily about him. He's just an instrument of God's righteousness, what he wants to be here. For who is able to judge this great people of yours? And so he wants an understanding heart. Judge. Remember why the judges, all through the book of Judges, you remember what it says? And God raised up a judge to deliver them. Well, they still need this deliverance, don't they? They don't realize it, but they do. They need discernment. And that's what God's people always need. They need those who are willing to help, those who have wisdom, those who have discernment, those who will judge with righteous judgment. So Solomon, here he is, and he's humble, he needs wisdom, and he needs wisdom not for his own benefit, but to benefit others. Now we'll also throw in this idea. God gives him wisdom, and it's going to be on display. Solomon needs to make sure he's applying it to himself too, not just everybody else. That's where eventually in his old age he comes up short, doesn't he? We'll talk about it here in a day or two. Appreciate you. Hope this study's been helpful for you. Hope you have a good day. Join us tomorrow for another portion of our daily praise.